All right, welcome back. It's Back to the Basics. I'm Sean Barr, and today we are talking about DNS. That's Domain Naming System. Let's go resolve some host names. Let's go! All right, welcome back, and we are talking DNS. That's Domain Naming System. What does DNS do for you? Well, it's the directory service of the internet. So if you want to browse the internet, going to google.com, facebook.com, any website, you need to leverage DNS. It essentially is the internet yellow pages. So what does that mean? Well, I go to google.com, and as soon as I type google.com in my browser, the first thing my computer is going to do is go out to my DNS server and ask, how do I get to google.com? And it will give me back an IP address. That IP address then is used to connect to the web service that is hosting that site. So DNS is critical if you want to browse the internet or resolve any name that's leveraging DNS, which is yahoo.com, facebook.com. Email uses DNS. Web traffic uses DNS. It's the lookup service. It's the domain name system. How does it work? It uses two protocols, TCP and UDP. The first UDP is from a host to a server, and TCP is typically for zone transfers. That's where google.com wants to send its information to another DNS server, so it would have all the records. So if you had www.google.com and the associated IP address, it would use a zone transfer to transfer that over to another server, and that would ensure that that server has all the info. Clients, however, your desktop, your iPad, your mobile device, those are going to use UDP, and it's going to be on port 53 to do a DNS query. And that query will go out from your machine on port 53 UDP, using UDP, and it's going to say what is, which we talked about, google.com. It's going to then send you back an IP address of the web service. Your host is actually going to connect to that IP, and you can browse the internet. So let's talk a little bit about what are some DNS records. Well, there's a few record types. There's an A record, which is a host record. www is a host record for google.com. A CNAME record, that's like an alias. So if your friends call you, hey Joe, what's up? And your real name's Joseph, as an example, that would be an alias or a CNAME record. So Joe points to Joseph, it's one and the same. So for example, maybe your mail server is email.google.com, but you really want to use the name mail.google.com. You could set up a CNAME record that would say mail.google.com points to email.google.com, and that would be a CNAME record. You only need one A record that has the actual IP address. The others are aliases. Another record type is MX. That is critical if you're going to be sending an email. An MX record says, what's the mail server? So as soon as you say Sean@google.com, it's going to know I need to go to google.com from DNS and get the mail record. That's going to be actually the mail server that does that. It's going to say, where is google.com's mail server? Well, it's going to look for the MX record. It's going to give it the IP address, and the mail server is then going to reach out to the other mail server. Another record is an Srv record. And so it's another way to store information specific about maybe an application. So a good example would be video. A lot of times you want to put a SIP server, SIP TLS server. So you would put an Srv record in there that has a special name on it that other services are looking for, and it's going to have the associated information for it, IP addresses, maybe some ports, things like that. Those things can be leveraged in an Srv record, and that's also housed by DNS. So we talked about a lot of things. What's DNS for? Well, it's a directory system. Converts names to IP addresses. There's multiple records, MXA, CNAME, Srv. We talked about those. We talked a little bit about the protocols, TCP and UDP, and on port 53, and how those actually work and what they're used for. All right, so if you have any questions about anything I said in this video, make sure you leave a comment, let us know, and also like and subscribe if you liked it and you want to get more of the content. We'll see you on the next Back to the Basics. Have a good one.